You're good? This is on. You want to get your
Alright, so we'll turn
mic?
these. Huh. Well. So now we'll turn the microphones on, right?
Yeah.
There's the microphone.
So you'll let me participate, okay.
Okay.
So talk to the crowd.
The
Alrighty.
Wetlands Commission holds a meeting and there's no one there. Did the meeting really happen?
Yep, because we're gonna be online.
That's true.
We are online, so the
I
answer is
know.
yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay. It is 7 o'clock. I'd like to call to order a regular meeting of the Brookfield Inland Wetlands Commission. Today is Monday, the 10th of July, 2023. My name is Sharon Fox. I act as chair of the commission. To my left, Mr. Michael Neustadt, who is the commission vice chairman. Further down, Mr. Dave Frankel, who is a regular member. To my right, Dr. John Donovan, who is an alternate, and because there's 4 of us, he will be a voting member tonight. And far down on the right side, we welcome Laura Barkowski, who is the Brookfield Inland Wetlands officer, enforcement officer. So we're glad to have her here. We do not have a recording secretary last night, or today, I should say, so we're gonna rely on the recorder. Alright, I think that is that. Okay, inland, we always start with the Inland Wetlands Officer's report. So I see we've got something from 731 Federal Road. Everything seemed to be in order. So Laura, just give you a little history on this one. That property gets an enormous amount of sheet flow, road runoff, and the applicant has had a challenging time, and they've always responded of making sure that the all of their plans for containment and runoff, are holding. The good news is we haven't had a breach, but it has been a very, very, very challenging property, for them. So, and then I'm not quite sure this minor trash stuff has been around. I assumed that it was, just things that the workers had inadvertently left. But then I heard there was something else that they found on the property, so I was just going to look and see exactly what she says about that. Chair's too low, now it's too high. Does she say anything about that?
It looks like it's old discarded machine parts and building debris found in the woods beyond the limit of disturbance.
Okay. Oh, yeah, it was old machine parts and building debris, there we go.
So we can certainly
Okay,
direct
all right.
the applicant to
Yeah, no, I think they'll take care of it. I just wanted to mention it to you, because that's the history on it. I've said it has really, really, really been a challenge for them, so. So that is that. I can't wait to hear about things after, 3 inches of rain last night?
Mm-hmm. We were actually lucky. We didn't really have much of a problem around here.
That's good. So then next is 100 Candlewood Lake Road. And again, I remind everybody, this is on the agenda twice, because there are 2 threads. Again, to help bring Laura up to speed. This is the school property over on Candlewood Lake Road.
the old Huckleberry.
Yeah, the old Huckleberry.
Mm-hmm.
So this particular application had, as you may know, there was probably some filled wetlands in there. The West Brook runs underneath it, so they're opening up a part of it. They're trying to restore some wetlands that were, suffered at the hands of the previous design for the school. And they did, for the footprint of the school, cover over, it was about 1,000-ish or 700-ish, 700-ish thousand square feet of wetlands. For that, and because of that, they agreed to do several things. First, they would have a wetland soil scientist be there for they had wetlands recreation on there. We were going to get reports. We were going to get a report from their remediation of a wetland area. And they were also going to create 4,000 new square feet of wetlands to make up for the 1,000 square feet that the building footprint covered over.
Okay.
And the new wetlands could be either on the site or an adjacent
Or
town-owned property.
Someplace else, right. So, they started building, and of course, I think this one happened in the middle of COVID, you know. So, so there's two threads on this. First, and this is what agenda item 3.2 is about, we don't have any reports from them, none, about the wetlands recreation. Did they have to change the plan a little bit when they remediated the wetlands? Did they find something there that it was a surprise and they needed to make a change? We have no reports. And part of the, you know, so we don't have anything about what they've done, you know, and we don't have, and then we also, as a part of the reports, they were gonna have to provide annual reports for 5 years, right? To make sure we understood what was happening so that they could make the changes, so they could do what I know they wanted to do, which is to have, you know, a great property and take care of the wetlands. So that's what this is. So back in March-ish, we wrote a letter, the applicant, on the town agent for the applicant is the municipal building department for Brookfield.
Okay.
And that's, Paul Checo, I think, is the commissioner, or the lead on, or the chair of that. So we wrote a letter to him, dated March 23rd, saying, please, 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 how would you make out what's going on with the reports? You know, who's going to hand them to us? We never saw the town, of course, because all the town agents, you know, the architect, there was a construction manager and multiple project managers. So we kind of saw them. We never saw anybody from the town. So we got that note out on the 28th, which actually had two things in it. First, where are the reports? Did you have to change anything? And second, when I went through the plan, I could only find 3,200 square feet of created wetlands. They're short 700 square feet.
Okay.
800.
So both of those are in the letter, and the way we're handling it on the agenda is 3A2 is about the reports, and 5A is about the conditions of approval.
Okay.
That's why it's on there twice,
I see.
okay? Even though there's one letter. Now, we know Paul got it, and he did, I think he copied Rochelle saying, thank you for that, let me get with the guys, or something, I'm gonna paraphrase it, let me get with whomever the people are who are responsible and get back to you. Now, we don't have anything yet.
And
So,
that's from March of this year.
yeah, that's from March. So, we have talked about it, every meeting since March. Because one of the challenges we have is if they haven't fulfilled the conditions of approval, how are you gonna sign off on the plan?
Can't?
You can't. So we've made note of that, you know, in every meeting.
Did you see the selectmen's monthly report?
No.
This month?
No.
There's a significant dialogue on the school
Okay.
and the work, and that it's almost finished, and that it's beautiful, and that everything has been approved. They're only awaiting a certificate of occupancy.
Oh, great.
So,
Good. That's okay.
Yeah.
They may have plans for this and we
Yeah.
just don't know. So I think it's a matter of either you or I
Okay.
checking in with Paul, saying, hey, thanks for your, and I think I have that email from him, or I know he's got the letter, Christine's got it. You know,
I
where
have
do
a
we
co-
stand?
There's a copy right in the
Where do we
packet,
stand
actually.
on this? You know, something like that.
I can certainly follow up with him actually tomorrow.
Okay.
I definitely wanted to touch base with him if we're,
from the written report, it seems like the school board is involved as well.
Yeah, and we copied them. We copied the
Yeah.
school board, we copied the selectmen. Who else did we copy?
Probably,
The
everybody.
lab, one of the agents,
the
you know,
project
from the
manager,
whatever.
the select,
Yeah.
and yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we think we've tried to do everything that we can think of doing,
Mhm.
you know, and we're very concerned, we don't wanna hold this up, but the reality is, everybody agreed to do things, and we don't know if they got done.
there was a great deal of pressure to get this approved.
Okay,
because-
hang on,
okay.
I wouldn't say that, hang on,
All right.
I wouldn't say that.
Okay,
I
I'll
wouldn't
take
say
that back.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
There was a lot of desire on our part to get this approved because it's the school, and coming up with a compromise that would work for both the school and the town and for us. So this wasn't just something that we came up with, without a lot of deliberation on between what they originally planned on and what we would have originally liked. Would have been more protection for the wetlands, but we did come up with a compromise, and that's all we're asking for, is for them to follow through on what they agreed to in the compromise.
And the crux is they have not provided details on the extra 4,000 feet of wetlands. It's only been a partial amount.
And Madam Chair, on the, or anybody from the commission who can answer, the original approved plans that went before you that were, they had the 4,000, or no, they did not?
No, they did not.
Okay,
There was a,
that was
it was a
after,
condition of,
gotcha.
it was a condition of approval.
Okay.
To come back to us, actually, we said, you gotta come back to us within 6 months, with what your plan is.
Mhm.
And this happened in the middle of COVID, frankly.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you that we had other projects going on, and it's not up to us to police, to police things. If people agree to do things, it's up to them to come back to us. So I don't feel bad that we didn't reach out to them till like a year later. That's not, we happen to notice that they are delinquent.
Mm-hmm.
It's not on
They
me to
also,
police them.
Sharon,
So
they
did I
also
answer, wait, just
received
one second. Did I answer your question?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
That was,
yes.
I wanted to.
Well, they also received our notice of approval with conditions, and
Yep.
if they had had a problem at the time, they should have come to us
I
right
agree with
away.
you 100%.
And they didn't.
That's what we know.
Yeah, and I do want you to know the deliberation to approve the school, it was, no, as Michael alluded to, it didn't breeze through here either. Michael was the one that came up with this compromise about the 4,000 square feet extra, and that was sort of the point that got the school approved.
Mhm.
It could have not been approved at the time.
Part of what they said was there wasn't enough room on the site, which is why we added the proviso that it could be done on the off-site.
Okay.
Basically, across the street in some open space that the town owns.
Okay.
And then they came back later, is that not correct, Sharon? Did they not, in one of the letters, I thought I saw that they found a way to do it on-site, but they haven't showed it to us yet?
There was an email from one of the project managers that said, I think this is all done.
Yeah.
But there was no
Yeah,
details about what
but
this
there
was.
wasn't any detail
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
on-site or off-site with that.
All right, so we're
Right.
really looking to see what
We're just-
happened with the.
We're
the
looking to
4,000
see what happened,
square
and as
feet of
Michael
wetlands,
is,
The conditions of approval,
Yeah.
and then, okay.
yeah. So,
Let me see if I can get a report directly
Okay.
from them.
and if I need to be involved, I would be happy to do so, If you wanna call me anytime, I said, cause somehow everybody's forgetting our letter of March, that's what it sounds like. And they're forgetting what they agreed to.
They are.
So, okay, so hopefully I have explained 3A2 and 5A why they're on there twice. Alrighty, Grays Bridge Road. This is one where there is not, we did not assign, an agent to do the, inspections after the 1 inch of rain. So the applicant has the responsibility to do that. This is the project, I don't know if you know where it is. It's just as you come onto Grays Bridge, sort of behind the, was it the tool place or something like that? Yeah, it's kind of behind the tool place or maybe a little further down.
I think it's a little
So it's
further
a little
down,
narrow
but yeah.
spot. Still River is right there. It's a touchy, tricky spot, so. so far so good on that one. Again, hopefully I did well during the whatever. Okay, enforcement. I don't, you and I spoke about 35 Merwin Brook. Do you wanna just talk about this, where we
Sure.
stand?
Just as an update, we went through the file as far as where Michelle, or my predecessor, had left off. So much time has gone by, I don't feel comfortable picking up exactly where they left off, because it looks like the last letter that was sent out officially was in 2022. So I actually sent out a friendly letter today to all 3 addresses I have on file
Okay.
for this property
Yep.
owner. That just says, please contact the office within 15 days, otherwise I will pursue a formal enforcement action.
Okay,
So that was just kind of my, hey, there's a new person here, I want to touch base with you, let's restart the conversation. If that doesn't work, we're gonna go straight into a notice of violation if they haven't addressed it, so.
okay.
What date did you send out the letter?
Today.
Today, okay,
Today.
so 15 days
15
from
days
now.
from now, you know, assuming it goes out tomorrow, because I did it today for mailing purposes. So I normally build a few extra days in at the end, just to make sure they get it.
Yeah, it looks like the original letter went out with a show cause hearing. And it looks like, because it took a while for that all to happen, it looks like when it came on our agenda, I don't remember seeing it as a show cause. Otherwise, I would have handled it as a show cause. So I didn't know that she had said it as a show cause, because I didn't know that.
So
And
how is a
and
show
so-
cause
That's
handled
well,
differently?
It is handled differently. If you write a letter to them saying you're gonna have a show cause, you have to have a show cause hearing. I
Okay,
didn't know that.
at one of our meetings?
Yeah, so that's why we didn't do it.
Okay.
Because it wasn't on the agenda that
All
way.
right.
So things happen, right?
Mhm.
Things happen, so that is one of the little
Yeah.
oops that Laura is fixing for us.
And that's been a difficult one,
Do
anyway,
we,
in terms of just getting in touch with
I've
the landowner.
noticed that there are multiple addresses in the file, and that he was served at one particular point in time. That's why I said I sent it to.
there was trouble originally delivering those letters also, so.
Yeah, that's
I don't know
what I
which one
referred to.
ended up going through. Now, do we have to do a show cause hearing on this if we didn't do it before?
So I would not even consider this cease and desist order valid at this point in time.
Right.
I would wanna start from the beginning again, actually, and reissue everything and go
That's
forward
fine.
with the new timeline. To go from October of 2022 just seems,
That's fine,
too much time has passed.
that's fine.
So we would restart the clock and start the process.
Okay.
We were talking about daily fines if there wasn't compliance.
Yeah, we gotta get through, we have to sort of reset the process. So we can't issue the fines because of well, Laura's saying the time, and I'm saying because we didn't do what the first letter said, which was a show cause. If we had done a show cause, we would have had a motion to say, you know, thank you for, for providing us input, we've reviewed it, and we would support the notice of violation. That didn't happen. You
So
know,
we're
that-
gonna, if we're restarting it, then we are gonna have to do that.
Well, yeah, and hopefully, I think it's Mr. Kinsella, hopefully we'll get the remediation plan, which is really what we want, right? And then we want it done,
Oh, yes,
right, we
that's
want
as
it done.
important
We're-
as
yeah,
getting the plan.
And getting it done, right, correct,
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah, there's no
you are-
point in getting a plan and then not
Not doing it.
follow through, you know,
Exactly.
which is entirely possible.
Yeah.
Right,
Sometimes
so
you
that's why I
have
think Laura's saying our best cause of action is to reset.
Just
make it-
start all over again.
Yes,
Okay, that's
start-
I'd
fine.
like to do
Start
it
from-
as a,
right.
you have a pending violation, we are aware of it, we did not forget about you, contact me immediately as
Yeah.
a first step, and then go into violations, particularly when I'm taking over someone else's,
Right.
so.
Right, and if we have to have another, if we have to have if show cause is the next step, then it'll get on the agenda and we'll do a show cause, you know? So, because the
Just-
property owner is entitled to that.
Okay,
By the book.
All right, so that is that. Let's see, well, why don't we do the public hearing, because there's no one here for us to sort of push that to the end. So, I'm going to, like I said, I'm gonna open the public hearing. Again, this was opened 2 meetings ago, I think. I wanna just look at the file. I know Christine did about 3.5 weeks ago get the requests out to the town attorney, the second one to Deep, to the selectmen, to anybody else who was interested. I don't know if we got anything back from anyone. Let me just look at the file.
Madam Chair, I
Yes.
do know Conservation did thank you for providing a copy, and they had no comment, just for one response. I believe that was sent in an email today.
Okay, so we'll get, eventually that will get in the file. 'Cause I don't see anything else from anyone.
No, and as we previously discussed, I did speak with the town attorney.
Okay.
And he does want to just kind of go over a few
Good.
things with me on this.
Great.
Kind of wanted to suss a few things out. And I actually had some questions for.
Sure,
for
it's-
how-
yeah, absolutely, with a public hearing, and so all, and I'll reiterate it. I said, you know, providing, some protection for watercourses and intermittent watercourses is terribly important as the temperature warms, the water warms, and then also, as we know, there is, you know, continued pressure with, a runoff, either from, you know, yard chemicals or something else. And this is a commission-sponsored change, and so our interest is looking at what can we do to ensure that there's no degradation, you know, from existing conditions, again, that would remove, for example, shade, you know, from a water course. Again, both, it's not wetlands, it's water courses, intermittent and regular. And what has Mother Nature done to sort of preclude or minimize or slow down, all apply, runoff. And so that's, you know, that's the basic behind it. The file has some information that we found on the internet, I found on the internet, that helped us get to the 35 feet. So I just wanted to set that stage. So now, yes, and we do, I think I speak for everybody, we are very interested in people's thinking on it, because we want to get it right. So,
Absolutely.
with that as a 1-minute introduction. Yes.
Well, actually, that introduction was very helpful, because I was wondering what drove this change and what the desire to make the text amendment change, and if it's just protecting water courses. Did you have any other towns that you looked at for model language on repairing?
No, I didn't really find anything. I did some looking,
Okay.
but no, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons we sent it to Northwest Conservation, thinking that they might know somebody
Mhm.
that has something.
Okay.
So no, the answer is in my, and I don't know if anybody else did, but I didn't find anything. I found countless, countless articles from reputable sources about the importance of clean water, and water that can, you know, support the little animals and everybody that lives in the water.
Mhm.
And again, with water and, you know, with both. So it's all over the place. It's in the New York Times, it's in the Wall Street Journal, it's every place you look. You know, people are talking about this is terribly important. And if we were exposing, so I found countless stuff like that, but no, I did not find
Any kind of model language.
anything to model or plagiarize. If that's it.
Borrow, you know.
Yeah.
We love to borrow language from
Yeah.
other towns
Right.
if it's beneficial. Okay, I was just curious as far as that was concerned, because we just want to make sure that everything stays within the boundaries of the
Yep.
Inland Wetlands Commission.
Yep, indeed.
And that's what we wanted to research a little bit further to make sure we're not going beyond the purview.
Yep.
But excellent, so I did speak with the town attorney on it. She was either going to, I don't know if you prefer an in-person presentation or a written memo,
No,
or.
she can talk to you, and she can
Okay.
talk to you, and then you can tell us what she said.
Okay, perfect.
Right?
Mhm, that's fine. My chair just collapsed.
Yeah.
Sorry. As I
Saw
go
that.
along.
Okay,
Um,
perfect.
I also did quite a bit of research
Mhm.
on the subject. Did not find specific regulations, but found lots of recommendations from federal sources,
Mhm.
as well as the state Department of Environmental Protection, most of which were quite a bit more strict than what we're proposing,
Okay.
going up to 200 or 300 feet instead of the numbers we're looking at, in order to maintain shading on streams, on watercourses, which hasn't been really written into the regulations before and should be.
Okay.
That was the gist of what I kept reading.
Because I was looking at some of the language here, and, you know, for your inventory for trees over 6 inches in diameter, was there anything that set that number in your mind, or?
Just, the 6 inches would be substantial trees that would provide shade. That's where the 6 inches. I figured
Okay.
something that was 2 or 3 inches wouldn't be providing a great deal of shade, but a larger tree,
Mhm.
would provide, shade. So, 6 inches is a pretty good sized tree.
Mhm.
How did I come to that number? That was me.
No, which is totally fine, I just
Yep.
wanted to have an understanding as far as
Yep.
when I'm comparing this. And then, I definitely wanna speak a little bit further with the town attorney,
Great.
and just, definitely get back to you, we're hoping.
Yeah,
to
and
have-
like I said, there are carve-outs, at the bottom, there are carve-outs if there's a crossing, obviously.
Mhm.
Or I was thinking, I'd be interested in other people's, if you run into a water course, for example, where it's full of invasives, or it's grass, which is worse, grass right down to that, if there might be some things that we could work with the applicant on over here, where maybe we can improve the situation along the water course. So that's the other carve out little
Mhm.
language there. No two properties are exactly the same, and, like I
Which
said,
makes writing regulations a little tricky on
it
occasion.
does. No, it does.
Okay.
All right, so, I also want to mention, again, for the record, I did get a call at home, from Barbara, I think her last name is
That
Snellen?
is one of our town attorneys.
Well, she did not explain herself that way. She did not explain herself that way. Otherwise, she had said town attorney, I would've talked to her. But, she caught me by surprise
Oh, goodness, okay.
on a Monday morning, and she said she had represented, I think, this is what I heard, again, maybe I misheard, that, she had represented an applicant, or she was an applicant for some other property. So that's what I heard.
Oh, yes.
So
No, she's
she-
actually one of our town attorneys.
Okay,
She's
well-
the one who I've actually been working with on this.
Well,
so.
great, now you can now explain to her why, because, she wanted to talk about it, and I told her I don't feel comfortable talking about it. I didn't know she was a town attorney.
Well, that clarifies the situation.
It does, so you can explain to her what happened.
Yeah,
I
no,
said
you did the right thing, you
What is
didn't
the
know who
last-
she was.
Well,
and,
anyways, if she had been the town attorney, I probably would've talked to her, but I didn't grasp,
Well, she should have identified.
the
Well,
town
I don't,
attorney?
she may have, and
We are
maybe I didn't hear
represented
her,
by a
it was
firm.
very
Yeah,
early
Monday
in the
We're
morning.
morning.
represented by a
Possible.
firm for the town,
Okay,
so
what's-
she is one of the attorneys for
Okay,
that
because the
firm.
one I knew was Barbara Schellenberg.
Schellenberg.
Well,
Okay, and that's not who this is?
No,
Or
that's
you
pretty
called you?
close, Schnellenberg.
Oh, so that's who called you?
Yeah,
that is
That
who
is our
called me.
town
Yeah.
attorney.
Right,
I-
so, well anyways, it was a funny conversation, because we talked about the logistics and the administration, and she said she wanted to talk about it, and I told her I didn't feel comfortable talking about it outside of the public hearing. And so she said, well, I think you can. I'm going, well, I respect what you said. Because I didn't know who she was, so.
Well, it's better to be cautious, so.
There you go.
err on the
Okay,
side of
I'm
caution,
glad I
I'm a
mentioned
fan of
it.
that. But I will explain the situation when I speak with her tomorrow, I'm
Okay,
sure.
tell her, I
and-
just did not hear town attorney.
Yeah.
I just
She
didn't hear it.
probably said the whole law firm name, and then it just gets confusing.
Well, whatever she said, I didn't hear it.
Not a
So
problem.
there you go.
Well, that clarifies that.
Okay, good.
Easy
So, sorry,
peasy.
Barbara, if you're listening.
She'll appreciate it.
Again, I thought she was just a member of, somebody local, or was some other application. That's how she said it. We met because I was representing another application. And that took me down another
Down a
trail.
whole different road. No, that's fine. That's easy to fix.
Yeah, you did the right thing.
I'm trying to
You
remember.
know, it is amazing how people don't identify themselves when they call,
Well,
you know,
again-
business call of some sort. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, again, she may have, but I didn't hear it.
She
So-
may have even been here in one of our meetings discussing the school. I know she came to one of our meetings, and
Okay,
that's when I met her.
yeah, well, she said she had come to some meeting, I said,
Yeah, I
I'm sorry,
think it
I
was the
just
one.
Well, if it
don't
was during
remember.
So anyways.
COVID, that, you know, would
It
all
was
be
here,
approved.
Yeah.
so it was either
COVID, do you
before
think?
or after COVID.
Probably during.
All right, well, with that, again, if it is a public hearing, so if there was anybody in the audience, we would we would give people the opportunity to ask questions, or speak in favor, or speak against. There's no one here, so, but I wanna cover that, in, every meeting, so with that, I will make a motion to continue the public hearing for the proposed amendments until our next regularly scheduled meeting.
Oh, Sharon,
Yes, yes, yes.
incidentally, how many meetings will this public hearing go for, would you say?
Well, first, Michael
I'll second
seconded the
it.
motion. This is we are sponsoring this, so timeframes don't apply, okay? Timeframes
You don't have any estimate, though, at this point?
No, I don't,
Okay.
no. I think probably we will see what we've got from the town attorney, now that we know that. And, I said if we don't hear anything from anybody else,
Mhm.
after giving them 6 weeks, 7 weeks?
2 months?
Yeah,
Then I think we can decide what it is that we want to do.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I don't think we should do this for months and months and months.
No, I agree with you,
No,
I
no,
agree with you, I think, I think
Do,
we,
do we have the authority to put the regulations in force, or does it have to go to the Board
We
of
do.
Selectmen?
no, we do, we'd have a
We
vote.
could,
Yep,
we can
post-
change it on our own.
Yep, they're ours,
They're your regulations.
they're our regulations,
Okay?
yep,
Okay.
okay?
I like that.
So with that, I made the motion to continue it, Michael seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed, motion carries 4-0. Old business, 5A, again, we talked about this just a few minutes ago, this is tracking the conditions of approval, specifically, again, we are specifically interested in what, best we can tell, there's a shortfall of about 700 square feet of newly created wetlands, along with the reports, but that is that.
Or 800.
So with that, I'll make a motion to continue, what's that, 800? It was
I thought
seven,
you said
800-ish.
2,200 they added.
700-800-ish, yeah,
Or 3,200 and,
yeah.
you know, they needed it. I don't, something like that,
Something
I think.
Second?
Okay, so I made a motion to continue, John seconded that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. 14 Evergreen Drive, this is that,
Generator.
the generator. And
Yeah.
Laura, we looked at this last week.
So the
Maybe
reason,
Christine knows something that we don't, but we couldn't even find any upland review area on it.
the entire property is wetlands.
Is that why?
The entire property is wetlands on this.
The whole thing
The
is
whole
wetlands?
entire thing is wetlands.
Ugh.
And he,
That's why I was hesitant to go about this in any kind of agent approval
Okay.
fashion, because
Okay, no wonder we couldn't find upland review area, because there isn't any.
then,
So what
that we
is,
need to,
I assume the house was built before there were regulations. It would not be
No.
built now, though,
She
would
wouldn't,
it?
she wouldn't know that, Dave, she wouldn't know.
Yeah, no, it's very local, it's.
what brought it to my
Yeah.
attention was the fact that the application said no wetlands.
Right,
No
'cause-
upland review
never,
area.
never trust applications
And
100%, unfortunately.
so it should be changed.
Yeah, it says total wetlands on the property is blank.
It should be 100%.
So we have in the past, asked the applicant to fill that out. You know, so that they are representing
Mm-hmm.
that number. We've asked them to do that.
I do
Now, they're
know
not
why-
here to do that. Because that's why I said, Michael and Dave and I looked at this every which way, we couldn't figure out what was going on.
Mhm. And it also has one of those maps that's very
And it says-
ambiguous.
And it actually says disturbed wetland area is 0, which maybe they're saying to put a pad on might be 0, but,
Yeah, that's what that probably means.
Yeah.
It's a little pad. you know,
But it isn't right. That's the thing, it's not right.
Because they're
mean, it's
going
just-
to be removing topsoil. They're gonna be removing approximately an inch of topsoil, 2 by 4.
Well, nevertheless, disturbed wetland area could be 6 square feet, right, not 0.
Correct.
So, again, you guys, and, you know, Christine, whatever, maybe, I'm sure I've talked to, I assume Mr. and Mrs. Basso? There's another name there, Stephen Jeffrey, so I don't know who's actually doing this. We have asked them to fill this out correctly. Oh, DeBella. The applicant is Natalie DeBella. The DeBella Family Trust is the landowner. So, I mean, in the past, now that I said we looked at this, and we didn't know what to do with it. So what do you know, can you give us, again, you guys, it sounds like you don't know anything, you have no background on any of these conversations. You see what I'm talking about?
I do see what you're talking about as far as the application
Yeah.
that was not filled out
I mean,
appropriately.
yeah, I mean, here, we can sort of deviate from our standard process if, which we don't like to do, you know, but we could complete this on their behalf, or we could ask them to do it.
I could also work with them.
You tell me what
and
you,
ask I have no problem working
I mean,
with
we've
them
sent
in
a
the
couple of
office and-
applications back,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to
That
people
didn't
saying,
have-
you know, we're not gonna tell, we don't know what you're doing, you know what you're
tell
doing.
us what you're
Mhm.
doing.
We don't know what you're doing, we don't wanna guess. So our normal procedure would be to send this back to Ms. DeBella, say that right? And say, please complete that.
That portion of the
That portion of the application.
The site data. I mean, and we're more than happy to work with them in the office as
Okay.
well to be able to do it.
Okay.
This is one of those interesting ones where it was a generator and not a huge new construction, so I do know that I do expect pushback.
Yeah, well, I think all we want to do is get the application complete.
Mm-hmm.
We just want them, if their entire property, all 0.28 acres is wetlands,
Mhm.
then the total wetlands on the area is not blank, it's 0.28.
Mm-hmm.
And the disturbed wetland area, in my judgment, would be the generator pad, whatever that is, 2 by
Yeah,
2,
they
4
tend to be
square
about
feet.
3 by,
Oh, whatever,
5.
6 feet, 9 feet, whatever.
somewhere between 10 and 15
20
is the
feet,
one I've
50 feet,
seen.
whatever it is, they
Yeah.
just have to tell us,
Mm-hmm.
okay, because it's not 0,
Square feet.
all right?
Okay.
Great, thank you.
No problem.
Good.
And
So
it would
when-
be a little bit more because they dig a trench to get the power from the house to the generator has to be underground.
Right,
I think it's very close to the house, thankfully, though.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, candidly, I don't see a big problem with it.
well,
Yeah,
you
it's-
you know, you know, I know that property, and if it's all wetlands, I don't,
Well,
it's like opening
could
a
be-
can of worms in a way. This generator pad. You know, sometimes you let sleeping dogs fly.
well,
yeah.
I could be convinced for something very modest when the damage is already done. I could be convinced.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah, no, yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but,
All right,
I
so we're gonna let the land use office, contact the applicant and
Mhm.
ask them to complete their application, now that we understand what the issue is.
you know,
And then we
I
can make
brought
a
this
decision.
up before we move on. There's a house on Evergreen.
If it's
Okay, you don't
not
wanna talk
specifically
about it.
related
All
to an
right,
application,
okay.
Dave, it's not good practice to
Yeah,
talk about
okay,
something else,
okay, nope, that's fine.
All right, so I'll make a motion then to continue 14 Evergreen Drive to our next regularly scheduled meeting with the understanding the land use office will contact the property owner or the applicant and ask that the application, the blank information be provided.
Second.
Michael seconds, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Okay, Stony Hill Village Pond Maintenance. I think, did I see an email in there somewhere?
There's a letter here on the
Yeah.
subject.
This is from Kimberly O'Rourke. Let's go for this. Let's see what this application is.
this should probably be under correspondence.
I want to remove it. Public hearing. And this here, I don't see a folder for new business. I don't see the application, maybe it didn't make the cart.
I have a copy of the letter of the request. I
Well,
don't know if that's-
yeah, I know, but
I see.
wouldn't we would normally even look at the application, right, but I don't see an application, so we can't look at an application, cause I don't have it.
Because there's not an application associated with it, though?
Ah, okay,
Okay.
I guess I should've let you finish your conversation. Oh, yeah, that's why there's no application number, okay, thank you. All right, so,
What's interesting in the letter is they seem to say that the regulations that they were provided with says it's up to us as to when they have to clean out this pond.
And it looks like there was
And that's
no-
never come to us in my time for somebody.
oh my goodness, is this 1975?
Yes,
Yeah,
almost 50 years ago.
Yes, that is correct.
Well, well. Dear, okay, at our meeting, October 13, 1975, the Inland Wetlands Committee voted to approve the regulated activities below. Conditions of this approval are, I didn't know we had wetlands in 75, I came in till, whatever. Wetland number 1,
Adopted in 74.
only regulated activities shall be permitted in wetland number 1. Swales will be permitted to be something from a point which 25 feet from, it's hard to
Constructed.
read,
mhm.
25R.
It says constructor's error. Not to avoid it within. Is that 25 feet?
Be drained and sediment removed when deemed necessary by the, oh, Lord.
By us.
Oh, may I see that when you're finished?
Check your after
You
the
have,
fact.
you have it in your
I
package.
have it.
Yeah,
Oh, yes, yeah, okay.
okay. Well, first off, we want to thank the applicant for keeping a copy of this. And that is, and that is in all seriousness, as obviously they're trying to do the right thing by
Mm-hmm.
natural resources. So something when it will be deemed necessary. And what is she asking us for, Michael?
Whether, what she should do.
Ah.
It appears
They're
to be,
updating
they
the
were
bylaw.
told that they have to clean it when we tell them to, and she's asking us what our regulations are. When does she have to remove the sediment?
Well, and there's something else, they're updating the condo association bylaws.
Well, that's,
That's why they wanted an answer from us, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The bylaws would be in.
so it would direct them to do what we tell them to.
Mm.
The sediment pool shall renew the water to be drained and sediment removed
Yeah,
when
here.
deemed necessary by the wetlands.
Yeah, this
Commission.
number 9 involves us.
I see, okay, there will be a, oh, she was kind enough to there shall be provision within the condominium association maintenance agreement, so that's what they're incorporating that into the maintenance agreement.
Well, I guess the next thing is, do we have set rules in place right now for what she's asking about?
I don't know. I would have never written it that way. So, I would have never faced that question.
We'll go back to 48 years and
See what you think.
give them input.
My goodness. I'd like to bring to your attention item 11, which is, hook into the town sewer, well then. Oh, okay, well, the simple answer is, I haven't the vaguest idea, without going out there. Does it say what those ponds are for?
No,
I didn't read that.
it's probably just, they're just there.
Wetland number 1. I'm having,
They
my eyes are
even
dry.
went to
What is
the-
it saying? Wetland number 1, or wetland number 2, right? Will be made into a detention basin. So wetland number 1, it can be left in its natural state.
And it says the only things they can do in that wetland, removing fallen trees and debris.
Which is not a good idea, anymore anyways.
Swales will be permitted, starting from a point no more than 25 feet into the wetlands. Point 22.
Well, my first inclination is if this is a, I don't know, my first inclination is if this is meant to be a detention basin, you know, is it, I don't guess I'm too worried about the sediment, but is it functioning, you know, as a, detention area, or is it overflowing and creating problems some other place?
You know, I'm wondering if maybe what we need to do here, since this thing is being kicked around in a big circle to us, is that we just kick it one more level and tell this person, this association, that we do not have specific regulations telling you how or when to remove sediment. However, if you'd like to remove sediment, please file an application with the Wetlands Commission for permission outlining what you want to do, and we will review it and approve it or deny it.
Do you happen to know, Laura, if we still have this original application and the maps? Could somebody look into that for
I
us?
could certainly look into it.
'Cause I don't know, I didn't quite understand kicking the circle.
In other words,
I mean, we're
he
just getting
wrote to the state told him to come to us. I'm saying let's go back to him and say, we don't have specific regulations to tell you what to do. You need to tell us what you want to do
Yeah, I don't.
and file an application for that process.
You know, what they're doing right now is they're updating their condo association bylaws, so I don't know that they have imminent plans to do anything with this.
Well, we have no
But I think
regulation
you
that
have the
makes them do
I
it.
think you have the answer there. Just whatever they want to do with the pond, they,
Well, Yeah, I'm sorry.
there should be an application here.
Because
Yeah,
they're
if
looking
they-
for two things, right? They are looking for putting pesticides in it?
Originally,
Where do you
I
get
thought
that?
they were talking about for pesticides, which is why
That's
I
what
sent
Christine
this
mentioned this morning, it was
They
pesticides.
said treatment of the pond. So treatment of the pond to me normally means some kind of pesticides
Okay,
or.
right.
Now it sounds more like cleaning out the sediment and.
From this, is it not correct, though, for treating the pond, that goes to the
That goes
state
to the state.
DEP,
If it's pesticides, yes.
Yes.
and then they come back to us, but we automatically.
Well, no, they don't come
They
to
don't
us,
come
they
to us,
just-
they tell us.
They tell
Which
us.
is why that's originally what I thought they were asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we wanna treat the pond, can we go about it? So that's why I sent her to the state, and then it came back with me with this approval letter from 1975, saying, well, the Wetlands Commission said that they will specify when the pond needs to be treated. It does sound like they are updating the bylaws. Perhaps the best response is these are regulated activities, according to our inland wetlands regulations, and require a permit. Should you wanna do any of the listed activities, we require a permit. Besides from that, you know, I agree with you, actually.
I think that's probably a pretty good answer. And it wasn't clear that they are doing that either. They just wanted to know.
I believe they are updating their bylaws, and they do wanna know what they're
Mhm.
responsible for handling with the pond, and we're kind of more on the, if you want to do something, this is regulated, not, we're gonna give you.
And if you respond that way, I do think it should be clear that they need to put in an application with inland wetlands for whatever it is they want to do.
If they,
If they wanna change what they have.
which they very well might not, they might.
Yeah, if they just
be-
wanna leave it as it is, they have permission to do it in their
Well, what if
original.
they
As long as
wanted
it's
to-
fun- as long as it's functioning. I
What
mean,
if
that's the
they-
question, just one second, Dave.
Sure.
I don't know if this sediment pond, cause it's a funny word, it's not what's a sediment pond? I don't even know what a sediment pond is. I know what a detention,
Basin.
I know what a detention basin is, but I don't know what, I don't know. And I said, I'm having trouble reading this. This all talks about wetlands. I'm not reading anything in either 1, 4, or 9 or 10. Again, somebody help me, because my eyes are not good. I don't even see the word sediment basin in there.
No, I didn't either.
So
Maybe
I'm-
we could ask them to define what they
This
mean.
seems to be what this board member of the HOA is calling it.
Yeah, I
It
know.
may not be an
yeah, I
an
know, but I
official
don't, so
term.
she's asking us to tell about a sediment basin, and I don't know what a sediment basin is.
Yeah.
Well,
I know
maybe
what
she
wetlands are, and I
could,
know what
define
detention.
it when we send out a response, define sediment
Ask them if they
basin.
could come to our meeting. Ask them if they could come to our meeting.
Yeah, then they
in
could
2
answer.
weeks. With some pictures. How about that? And
Yeah,
and
that's
if anybody
okay.
wants to go out there and take a look, great, but if they could bring some pictures,
Yeah,
let's see if we can get the map from 1975. Maybe they got
I
it.
will try.
We'll see what we find, right? Ask them to come, tell them we'll be very flexible on the agenda, right? Okay, but tell them, I said, we're just having trouble understanding exactly what they need from, at least I'm having trouble understanding exactly what they want.
I think they just want to put it into the language of the bylaws.
Well, they can go
If
through
we
that.
have such regulations, and we don't.
Well, cause they're
Yeah.
asking me, again,
Yeah.
they're asking me about a sediment basin or pond, and I don't know what a sediment pond is.
Right.
It's-
Mr. Griffith.
it's not here.
Probably different jargon was
I don't
used
know that, that's what I'm
48
saying,
years
I
ago.
don't know, and I don't wanna
make
I don't wanna jump to a conclusion,
Mhm.
cause I don't know what that is. So if they come, if we can find a map, if they can bring us some pictures, and really, ask the question, if it's a detention basin wetland, is it functioning? If it's got sediment in it, why? Shouldn't. Detention basins don't get sediment,
And that's,
and wetlands shouldn't have any sediment in them either, so tell them, look, we wanna, I'm sure you'll tell them, we wanna be helpful to them, we want, give them what they need to, when they update their regulations, but we're a little mystified as to what they're, at least I am.
okay,
And I think we can get it clear, again, if they can come, if they can't come next week, then they can come, or next meeting, they can come whenever they can, tell them we'll be flexible, bring some pictures, tell us what they mean by sediment, let's see if we can get the plans, and I'm sure we can get this squared away. Otherwise, I'm sorry, I think we're hypothesizing, myself.
Yeah,
They
I
are
think
calling
we-
it a sediment pond in the
Is it in there and
in
I'm
the
not seeing
town.
it?
letter. Yeah,
Which,
first page, number 4.
Detention basin,
Yeah, no, I saw sediment pond,
sediment
that-
control,
okay, sediment control.
Yep.
And the next
Oh, it does
sentence,
say this sediment pond shall have a.
this
provision
sediment pond,
To enable
next
the
line.
water to be drained and sediment removed when deemed necessary by the Wetlands Commission.
okay, well, fine, then, still,
Yeah.
again, I don't wanna.
Yeah. I'm less
I
concerned
think in
about-
1975, they could have been clearer.
yeah.
They may have just used different language then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
'cause they-
did,
now.
but I'm not as concerned about what they're calling it as, does it have sediment? You're right. Does it need to be cleaned? And let's find out what they think, and we'll tell them what to do.
Right, because if it's a wetland,
Yeah.
it we're
Shouldn't
gonna
have sediment.
it shouldn't have sediment.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
Maybe there was a different
commission on-
definition
Yeah.
of sentiment back
and if
in,
it doesn't have sediment, then the 1975 commission did a great job.
Then they
of
did a great job,
setting it up
Correct.
correctly.
correctly. So, does that sound reasonable?
Sounds reasonable, I will certainly.
Everybody are
reach out
okay
to
with
the-
that?
yeah.
Did we spend
Yeah.
enough time on this?
yeah.
I
Spend
think
any
so.
more time on it?
No.
I doubt Mr. Griffin's available.
What's that?
I doubt if Mr. Griffin's available to clarify.
I don't know. Alrighty, well, that was a
Well, we're
long
just gonna have to
conversation.
get sediment basin into the OED.
Yeah, well, and we can clear it up, because I don't
I'm
want them
feeling
to
we're
have,
making a bigger deal
we
about it
keep
than
talking
it
about it. I don't want them to
actually
have
is.
sediment basin in their regulations, because there's, no, that's wrong. So we'll get that straightened out. Okay, as long as everybody's okay with that, we'll make a
Yeah.
motion to continue the, it's not an application, but the inquiry from Stony Hill Village Pond Maintenance to our next regularly scheduled meeting, understanding the land use office will contact the applicant with our request.
Yeah, okay, second.
Okay, Dave seconds, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Okay, the next one is the other business proper. I love that. The beaver dams. We'll deal with that once we get through this one and this one. We did have, just a quick, we did have some basic stuff that Alice Dew had found. I thought it was sort of public hearing ready. It wasn't, the text wasn't. So I know Christine and I sort of changed some things, but we will deal with this
At a later date.
at
A
our
later
next-
date.
It's on our list of priorities, but we're gonna deal with other things next. Correspondence, we don't have anything. Review of the previous minutes from June 26th.
Somebody
I have
wrote
some
some-
things, but I'll let anybody else go first.
No, I have not had a chance to review it.
Okay.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Hopefully I got everything here. There's just a couple little weird things. On the first page, 731, Federal Road Inspections, I think there's just a typo there, again, if I'm reading this right, that Chair Fox stated that the nearby related piece of property, is that a period? Or
Comma, looks like
it's
a
a comma? All right, so that's not a typo.
701 Federal
Yeah.
Road, comma.
All right, so forget that one, I thought it was a whatever. The next one is, I believe it's on page 2. I don't know, I heard them, this is from 35 Merwin Brook Road, I heard Mr. Gallagher, who was here and chimed in, because I think he is involved in this, I think he said it was Jim McManus, not Mike. But let's just change it to say Mr. McManus.
Yeah.
You know, he did say Jim,
I think he did, but let's just put
Mr.,
Yep.
Mhm.
okay. Oh, we're going
Twice.
to do that twice, because
Right,
Mike
yeah, it's in there
McManus is,
twice, right.
Twice.
Mhm.
And I think for the public hearing, again, down half, on that second paragraph, the one that starts, there's no email, there wasn't, so had asked, go down there, there was no email sent yet, right? As we described, yet, I wanna make sure it was on our list of things to do, it just didn't happen. And then where it says, it's really, I had asked her, I didn't ask her in the meeting, cause she wasn't there, I had asked her the day before, or 2 days before, to get that done. And then I think, I'm pretty sure I said in the meeting that, I confirmed that so I would add a sentence there that says, these emails have been sent and the emails are in the file. Requesting input. Because it didn't read that way. You know, it didn't read that way. And I think the only other one is on page 4, under 6 new business, the first paragraph, down towards the bottom, the sentence starts, or the line starts, had been given administrative approval for use of a riparian bream? I don't think that's a word.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
Buffer?
I think it had been a
It's supposed to be
retaining
buffer.
wall.
Or berm.
Yeah, it's a retaining wall. I think,
Oh, instead of a
Yeah,
wall, though.
yeah,
Maybe a beam
well, I think
or
it's a retaining wall.
bream?
And that shows up twice. I don't even know what a riparian bream is. A bream is a kind of fish, isn't it? Isn't there a fish? But anyways, there was a they had
Maybe
they had a
there's a-
retaining
a
wall,
berm.
and then, I think Rochelle said you could take it out and they wanted to put it
Yeah.
back in.
Okay,
Yeah.
exactly, so it doesn't really affect much, but could the word they've been looking for, berm?
Or
No, I don't think
buffer?
it was, no berm.
How about buffer?
No, it's
Berm?
on no, it's on that southerly access road.
Yeah,
That's the southerly access road. The road is higher than the
yeah,
property
but a
line.
berm would replace a wall, or a wall would replace, a berm is a pile of, you know, a berm of dirt or something
Yeah, but I don't
that
think,
holds water back,
yeah, I know, but this is the road.
okay.
This is the driveway, so
Okay.
I think they would gone to some other, they were gonna slope it out, I
Okay.
think, and then they went back to the retaining wall. So anyways, I
Okay.
think it's retaining wall, not riparian bream.
But they're saying this riparian berm instead of the wall, and then they're gonna use the wall anyway because the bream, but I think the berm is not an option. That's how I read it, but you could be correct.
I guess you're right there.
Well, it's not an option because it doesn't exist.
Yeah. So I don't remember what it was, cause I didn't do it.
We could, I suppose,
You know
listen
what,
to
let's
the
just
tape.
change it, let's just change it. She also explained that the former land use, I don't know what they're talking about. Why don't we just change it? She also explained that the former land use director, Rochelle Hadza, had given administrative approval for a change, but now they want to have the wall.
There you go,
How about that?
perfect. You
Yeah,
okay?
that's
Oh, we've
fine.
got a,
You're right, you're right. I don't think it was why do you put a berm on that southerly, I don't think it's a berm.
well,
I think it was of a slope,
Okay.
soil. Maybe-
Well, you
Yeah, it
could,
could be.
you could
Well,
listen
that's-
to the tape.
that's what I would call it, a berm, is
See, I
a slope
don't
of
think of a
soil
berm.
to hold water
I
back,
think
but,
of a berm is that. That's a
Yeah.
berm. This is, the profile is, the road is going down.
okay,
This is the driveway, this is a cut.
yeah,
So I think they should talk about like a dirt slope, but now they're going back to the wall.
yeah, okay.
Well, your
I would call it,
language change
that's,
is good.
you're right,
Whatever.
whatever.
Because
Okay,
it's sort
so
of-
I
Oh,
will
we've
make a
lost-
motion then.
We've
Whoops.
lost our
That's
officer,
okay,
and, but
she'll be
she,
all right.
you sure?
Yep.
I hope she will be.
Yep, so I'll make a
Coughing
motion
badly.
that we approve the June 26th, 2023
Okay.
meeting minutes as amended. We're changing that last sentence to say, so can I get a second?
Second,
Second. So we're changing those last sentences and give administrative approval for a change and had given approval for a change and now they wished to return to the retaining wall. And I think that captures the essence of it. So you want something to drink? You got something to drink?
I
Okay,
know,
all right.
I'm not sure what happened there.
Okay, well, these, so because we don't know, Michael, I don't think it's a berm, Michael thinks it's a berm, I don't know what a
Whatever.
bream is, whatever it is.
I don't know what a
Michelle
bream
did it
is
and we
either.
were not involved. So with that,
Well, and then underneath, we can say that approved change is now
back to a wall.
not an option.
And it's back to a
So
wall.
the approval, you know, the whole thing could almost be erased. It doesn't
be.
even matter.
Yeah,
all right,
so if you want to erase it, that's fine too. No, because that's what we approved. You
yeah,
can't erase it because that's one of the changes we approved. You can't make it go away.
Will we just say after,
well, she did,
the change is not not
The change
an
is no
option
longer viable
anymore,
and they want to
so
go
the
back to the wall.
approval
Yeah.
can be
Yeah.
disregarded.
Yeah, right. Okay.
That sort of fixes that, doesn't
It
it?
it does. But are you okay with that? We're not, we're not going slipshod here, are we?
No, I think
Okay.
we're fine.
All right.
We're going back to the original.
Yep. All right, anything informal discussion?
Oh, yes, I do have informal discussion. I had a longtime colleague on the planning commission where I used to serve. His name's Bruce McDonald. He passed away on June 23rd.
Oh my goodness,
He
I'm
was
sorry.
67. He did other things in town besides the planning commission. He was pretty active here for probably 20, 25 years.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm just saddened to report that. And I would like to put it in the record.
Okay.
And McDonald is MacDonald. And my condolences, our condolences to the McDonald family.
Okay, I did not know him, but.
Yeah, I know, he really was quite an extraordinary
And much
individual.
too young.
Do you know him?
No,
Oh, okay, I don't
but
think
just
any,
when I
you
hear
didn't
the
know me.
age, it's too young.
Okay, anything else? Laura, how'd we do?
It's good to me.
All right, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Dave
Sec-
makes,
second?
Dave made the motion, Michael seconds, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.